This is the difference between the acronyms LPV and LNAV on an approach plate. GPS approaches use a bunch of different acronyms, many of which are similar, making it confusing to tell the difference. On this GPS approach into New Haven, let's look at the difference between the LPV approach and the LNAV. LPV stands for Localizer Performance with Vertical Guidance. The vertical guidance is like a glide slope on an ILS, meaning it's more precise than an approach with just lateral guidance, which is what an LNAV is, lateral navigation. The different levels of precision are evidenced in the different minimums. The LPV allows you to go down to 430 MSL, while on the LNAV, you have to level off at least 540 feet above sea level. That's not the only difference. The two approaches are flown differently. The LPV is flown just like an ILS. We'll intercept the vertical guidance, the glide path at 1,700 feet, as shown by the lightning bolt, then follow it down to 430 feet, which is the decision altitude. We'll arrive at 430 feet at a specific point on the glide path, and then make a decision about whether to continue the approach or go missed based on what visual references we see out the window. On the LNAV, it's flown more like a non-precision approach. Less precision means there's less strictness on how the approach is flown. We have minimum altitudes to adhere to, but no specific altitudes to maintain at specific points. We reach the final approach fix at Elves at 1,700 feet or above, then descend to a step down at Yernu, crossing it at or above 920. We can descend to that altitude right away and do what's called a dive and drive, or we can compute a continuous descent rate like we would have on a precision approach. It's up to us, just as long as we meet the crossing restrictions. Past Yernu, we descend again to the MDA, 540, not going below that until we get the required runway visual references. If we don't get them, we go missed, but not until reaching the missed approach point, which in this case is the runway threshold as indicated by the GPS fix RW20. One thing I always ask my students when briefing a GPS approach is if it'll be flown as an LPV, similar to an ILS, or as an LNAV, like a VOR or localizer only approach. This question primes you to brief the different steps used on the different types of approaches. If this is helpful, check out more Flight Insight resources like ground schools, quizzes, and articles today.